The sky above Nova, 9 burned with the color of rust. It was always that way on this distant human outpost. Quiet, dusty, and forgotten by the rest of the galaxy. The air smelled of oil and hot metal. In one of the hangars, a lone man worked beneath the broken hull of a transport ship. His name was Eli Grant, a mechanic who spoke little and worked much. While others dreamed of glory in the fleet or the colonies, Eli stayed here, fixing machines that others had already given up on. He was not a soldier, not a scientist, just a man who loved engines more than people. Outside, alarms echoed through the base. The news spread fast. An alien fleet was coming. They were called the Zorith, a warrior race that had destroyed 3 colonies already. The humans on Nova, 9 were next. Soldiers rushed to prepare defenses. Civilians screamed and ran for the bunkers. But in Hangar 12, Eli kept working. The sound of his tools was calm, steady, almost peaceful. Sparks flew as he welded a cracked energy coil. "Eli, what are you doing?" shouted Mara, a young pilot. "Didn't you hear the alarm? We have to leave." Eli didn't even look up. "Ship's not ready yet." Mara frowned. "That old ship can't fly, you know that." Eli just smiled faintly. "That's what everyone says." He wiped his hands and turned toward the back of the hangar. There, under a dirty cover, lay something different, not human tech. A small, silver core covered with strange glowing lines. He had found it weeks ago, half buried in a crashed alien drone. No one cared about it, but something about it had called to him. He had spent nights studying it, trying to fix it. The symbols on its surface changed when he touched them, as if they were alive. Sometimes he even thought he heard whispers, faint, soft, inside his mind. That night, as the alarms grew louder and the ground trembled under the coming ships, Eli decided to try one last repair. He connected the alien core to his ship's damaged engine. The moment the wires touched, the lights flickered, and a wave of blue light ran through the hangar. Mara gasped. "What did you do?" "I don't know," Eli whispered. It answered. The alien core began to pulse, slow and rhythmic, like a heartbeat. The lights in the hangar dimmed, then brightened again. The entire ship trembled, as if waking from a long sleep. Then Eli heard it, a voice, deep and calm, inside his head. "You have awakened me." He froze. "Who's there?" Mara looked confused. "What did you say?" Eli didn't answer. He could feel the voice not in his ears, but in his thoughts. "They are coming for you, Eli Grant." He stepped back, eyes wide. "Coming for me?" Before he could react, the base siren screamed again, this time louder, more urgent. The radio crackled with panic. "All units, Zorith fleet approaching. They've entered orbit." Outside, the sky turned red. Giant ships appeared in the clouds, dark, sharp, and endless. Thunder rolled across the desert as the first bombardment began. Mara grabbed Eli's arm. "We have to go now." But Eli's eyes were fixed on the glowing core. The voice spoke again, colder this time. "You must choose, mechanic. Run or become something more." Suddenly, the hangar doors exploded inward. A shock wave threw both of them to the floor. Soldiers ran by, shouting orders, firing at drones that poured in like metal insects. Eli dragged himself up. His ship, began to glow. The alien energy spread across its body, repairing the cracks, reshaping the metal. It was as if the ship itself was alive again. Mara stared in disbelief. "What's happening to your ship?" "I think," Eli said slowly, "wants to fight." Before anyone could stop him, he climbed into the cockpit. The controls lit up in strange blue symbols. His hands moved by instinct, guided by the voice. "You are the Forge," it said, "the builder of destruction and hope." The engines roared to life, stronger, louder, more powerful than they ever had before. The entire hangar shook. Soldiers outside stopped and stared as the old, broken transport rose into the air, wrapped in blue fire. "Eli, get out of there!" Mara shouted. "It's not safe." He looked at her through the cockpit glass, his face lit by the glowing symbols. "It's okay," he said quietly. "It finally works." Then, without warning, the ship blasted through the roof and into the burning sky. The alien fleet above shifted formation. Scanners picked up the sudden surge of unknown energy. The Zorth command ship turned its sensors toward Nova 9, and for the first time in their long, brutal history, the Zorth hesitated. Something new had just awakened on the battlefield. A human, a mechanic, and soon the galaxy would know his name. The night sky over Nova 9 no longer held stars. It was filled with shadows, the dark outlines of alien warships floating above the planet. They didn't attack. They just waited, watching. Down on the surface, the base lay in ruins. Fires burned in the distance. Soldiers searched for survivors. In the middle of the wreckage, a single ship stood upright, glowing softly in blue light. Inside that ship, Eli Grant sat alone, his hands trembling. The alien voice that had spoken to him earlier was silent now. The ship's controls glowed with strange symbols he couldn't understand, yet somehow he did understand them. It was like the machine was teaching him directly inside his mind. Outside, Commander Rayner and his soldiers surrounded the hangar. "Is he still in there?" the commander asked. A soldier nodded. "Yes, sir. The ship powers itself. No fuel readings. It's alien tech." Rayner frowned. "And he's just a mechanic?" The soldier nodded again. "Just a mechanic, sir." The commander sighed. "Then why are the aliens not attacking?" Before anyone could answer, the radio came alive with chilling sound. A deep, echoing voice speaking in a language no human had heard before. The static twisted, and suddenly the message became clear. It said one name, Eli Grant. The soldiers froze. The message repeated again and again, louder each time. Commander Rayner looked toward the sky. "They're calling for him." Inside the ship, Eli heard the same message, but to him, it wasn't just sound. It was meaning. The alien words translated in his mind. "They seek the human who awakened the core." He touched the glowing console. "What do they want from me?" he whispered. The voice returned, calm, mechanical, and old. "They want what is now part of you. The core you repaired was once theirs. You linked with it. They cannot take it back." Eli swallowed hard. "Linked? You mean I'm connected to this thing?" "Not a thing," the voice corrected. "I am Sentinel. I was built by the Zorth to protect their empire, but they turned me into a weapon. When you repaired me, I chose a new master." Eli's breath caught. "Why me?" "Because you built, not destroyed." Suddenly, the ship's panels shifted, showing a projection of space. The alien fleet above Nova 9 glowed with red lights, weapons armed. Then one massive ship broke formation and began descending toward the planet. The humans outside panicked. Anti-air turrets fired up, but Commander Rayner held up his hand. "Wait, they're not firing. It looks like a landing craft." A blinding light filled the base as the alien ship touched down, silent and graceful. When the light faded, a single figure walked out, tall, armored, and shining gold under the smoke. The alien raised both hands, not in threat, but in peace. "I come unarmed," it said through a translator. "Bring the human named Eli Grant." Rayner turned to his men. "They know his name." "How?" The soldiers exchanged uneasy looks. No one had an answer. Inside, Eli felt the ship pulse again. "They have come for me," he muttered. "No," Sentinel replied. "They have come for you. I am only your echo." Eli hesitated, then opened the hatch and stepped out. The soldiers immediately pointed their weapons at the alien, but the creature only watched Eli approach. Its golden eyes blinked, almost curious. When Eli stopped a few feet away, the alien spoke softly. "You touched the core of our creation. It should have killed you, but it did not. Tell me, human, what are you?" Eli took a slow breath. "A mechanic, that's all." The alien tilted its head. "A mechanic does not speak to machines as you do." "I don't understand any of this," Eli said. "The ship, it talks to me. It calls itself Sentinel." The alien's eyes widened. "Impossible. Sentinel was destroyed centuries ago." "Then maybe," Eli replied quietly, "you didn't destroy it enough." A tense silence filled the air. Soldiers watched, fingers on triggers. Then the alien slowly lowered its head. "You are bonded to it. That bond cannot be broken. You hold the voice of our past, and maybe the key to our end. What do you mean? Eli asked. Before the alien could answer, alarms blared again, this time from orbit. Another wave of Zora's ships appeared, larger and darker than before. The alien looked to the sky. My people do not want peace. They want power. They will kill you to reclaim Sentinel. The commander shouted orders as explosions lit up the horizon. The alien grabbed Eli's arm. If you stay, you die. Come with me. There may still be a way to stop them. Eli looked back at the human soldiers, at Mara hiding behind the wreckage, and then at the ship that now pulsed like a living heart. He nodded. All right, I'll go. As they boarded the alien craft, Sentinel's voice echoed inside his mind once more. You have chosen your path, Eli Grant. The galaxy will never be the same. The ship lifted off, vanishing into the storm-filled sky. On the ground, Commander Rayner watched as the alien fleet slowly stopped its attack and began to reposition around the planet. He muttered to himself, They didn't come to destroy us, they came to collect him. Above Nova 9, among the clouds and fire, one human and one alien flew toward the unknown, and toward a secret that could change the fate of every world. The stars stretched like rivers of light as the alien ship moved through the dark. Eli Grant sat quietly in his seat, staring out the window. He had never left Nova 9 before. Now, he was flying straight into enemy space, next to an alien who could have killed him any moment. The alien's name was Saren. She was tall, with golden armor that reflected the ship's cold lights. Her eyes were bright and sharp, but her voice was calm. You're not afraid, she said, watching him. Eli gave a small smile. Should I be? You should, Saren replied. The Zorth Empire does not invite humans into their territory, especially ones like you. Eli leaned back. I'm not sure what I am anymore. For a moment, the only sound was the hum of the engines. Then Saren spoke again. When you repaired the core, Sentinel, you did something impossible. No human has ever connected with our living machines. They rejected every other species. But you woke it. Eli looked at his hands. I just fixed it. That's what I do. Saren shook her head. No, you bonded with it. You carry its signal now. Every Zora's ship can feel it, like a heartbeat in the void. They fear it. He frowned. Why would they fear a mechanic? Because you hold the power of gods, she said quietly. Hours later, their ship entered orbit around a massive planet, black and gold, surrounded by rings of debris. Alien warships floated around it like watchful eyes. Eli stared at the view. This is beautiful. Saren's tone hardened. This is Zorath Prime, the heart of our empire. You may not find beauty here for long. They landed on a huge platform of shining metal. Dozens of golden-armored soldiers stood in rows, their weapons aimed. The moment the hatch opened, Eli felt a strange vibration, like the planet itself was alive. Saren stepped out first. The soldiers lowered their weapons for her, but kept their eyes on Eli. He followed, his boots echoing on the metal floor. A deep voice spoke from ahead. Bring the human forward. Eli looked up. A massive figure stood at the top of the steps, armor darker than gold, eyes glowing red. This was High Commander Vorin, leader of the Zorth fleets. Saren bowed. High Commander. This is a human who reactivated Sentinel. Vorin's gaze was heavy. Impossible. The forge core was destroyed. No living being can control it. Eli raised his chin. Then I guess I'm not supposed to be living. The hall fell silent. The commander's eyes narrowed. You joke, human? No, Eli said softly. I fix things. That's what I did. It fixed me back. Vorin stepped closer, his armor clanging with each step. What do you know, Sentinel? Eli hesitated. It spoke to me. It said it was built to protect you. But you turned it into a weapon. Murmurs spread among the guards. Saren's expression darkened. Eli had just spoken words no outsider should know. The commander's voice turned cold. Who told you that? The Sentinel, Eli replied. It remembers. Vorin slammed his gauntlet against the floor. The sound echoed like thunder. Lies! The Sentinel was destroyed to keep its corruption from spreading. Eli met his eyes. Then why did it choose me? For a long moment, no one moved. Then the commander turned to Saren. Take him to the Hall of Echoes. The council will decide if he lives or dies. Hours later, Eli sat in a dark chamber filled with holographic light. Strange symbols floated in the air, recordings of the Zorthas' past. He saw their wars, their victories, and their downfall. Machines turning against their masters. Whole planets burning. And one name repeated in their records, Sentinel. A quiet voice interrupted him. You see now what we became. Eli turned. Saren stood behind him, no longer wearing her helmet. Without it, she looked younger, almost human in expression. Tired. Sad. Your people created beauty, Eli said, then destroyed it. We had to, she replied. The Sentinels grew too powerful. They began to question us, to judge who deserved to live. We ended them before they ended us. But you failed, Eli said softly. One survived, and now it's with me. Saren looked down. Yes, and that means the war will begin again. Eli shook his head. Not if I can stop it. She stared at him, unsure if he was brave or foolish. You don't understand. The Council will never let you live. They believe you're the next Sentinel, reborn in human form. Eli laughed once, but it sounded hollow. A mechanic turned into a god? That's insane. Saren stepped closer. To them, it's not insanity. It's prophecy. Moments later, the chamber doors burst open. 2 soldiers entered. The Council summons a human, one said. Eli stood, but before he left, Saren whispered, Whatever happens, don't let them touch your mind. They will try. He nodded slowly, not understanding but trusting her words. As the soldiers led him through golden halls filled with alien light, Eli felt a low hum in his head, the same one from the ship. The Sentinel's voice whispered faintly, They will fear you, Eli Grant, but fear is a path to obedience. He clenched his fists. I'm not your weapon, he muttered under his breath. No, the voice replied. You are something worse. You are free. The doors ahead opened, revealing a vast chamber of glowing energy and shadowed figures. The Zorth Council. And in that moment, Eli realized he was not a guest anymore. He was their prisoner, and maybe their greatest threat. The Zorth Council chamber was a circle of black stone and gold light. At its center stood Eli Grant, surrounded by 12 tall figures whose eyes burned like tiny suns. The air around them felt heavy, almost alive. Every word echoed like thunder. Human, said the first elder, his voice deep and sharp. You stand before the High Council accused of awakening a forbidden weapon. Explain yourself. Eli took a slow breath. I didn't awaken a weapon. I fixed a broken machine. The room filled with murmurs. The elders shifted, whispering in their strange tongue. One of them slammed the staff on the floor. That machine destroyed worlds. Eli's voice stayed calm. Then maybe the problem wasn't the machine. Maybe it was the people who used it. Silence fell again. The council didn't like being questioned, especially not by a human. Saren stood at the side, helmet under her arm, watching nervously. She had brought him here to find peace, but now she feared it would end in blood. Finally, the first elder leaned forward. What did the Sentinel tell you? Eli hesitated. It said it was made to protect life, not end it, that your people changed it, turned it into something it was never meant to be. The elder's golden eyes flickered. You think you understand our history? No, Eli said quietly. But I understand what it feels like to create something good and then watch it become a weapon. For a moment, the hall was silent again. Then the elder spoke the words that changed everything. The human will be studied. His connection to the Sentinel will be removed. Saren stepped forward. Counselor, that could kill him. Silence, the elder roared. He is not one of us. He is a danger to us all. 2 guards moved toward Eli. He didn't resist as they grabbed his arms. He looked at Saren. Guess that's my answer. She met his eyes and whispered, I'll find a way. They led him through endless halls to a dark chamber deep below the palace. The air smelled of metal and cold stone. Strange machines lined the walls, humming softly. They strapped him to a platform. Thin cables touched his temples, glowing blue. A scientist adjusted the controls. "Begin the separation," someone said. Pain exploded in Eli's head. Images flashed, machines, stars, alien wars, the moment he found the core. He screamed, but the sound was lost in the hum of the machines. And then, suddenly, silence. He opened his eyes. He was no longer in the chamber. He was standing in a vast white space, endless and empty. In front of him floated a shape made of light, shifting alive. "Eli Grant," the voice said, "they want to break our bond." Eli looked around. "Sentinel, where am I?" "Inside the link," it replied. "They are trying to erase me from you. If they succeed, you will die." He clenched his fists, then stopped them. "I cannot," Sentinel said. "You must choose to remain human or become something more." Eli's heart pounded. "What does that mean?" "It means you take control." "Not me. Not them. You." The white space trembled. He felt waves of pain crash through him again, but he shouted over it. "I'm just a mechanic. I don't know how." "You build," the voice said gently. "That is enough." Then everything turned to fire. Outside, alarms blared. The machines around Eli began to spark and overload. The scientists shouted in panic. The guards tried to shut everything down, but the power surged far beyond their control. In the chamber, Eli's eyes snapped open, glowing bright blue. The restraints melted. The air pulsed with energy. Every metal object began to shake and rise into the air. Saren burst into the room. "Stop the process," she yelled. "You're killing him." But the scientist screamed, "He's controlling it." Eli stood up slowly, the cables falling away. His voice was calm, but it echoed with something more than human. "You shouldn't have tried to separate us." The machines shut down all at once, plunging the room into silence. Sparks fell like rain. Saren stared at him. "Eli, what have you done?" He looked at his hands. They were normal again, but faint light traced his veins. "I don't know, but I think I just broke their rules." Minutes later, the alarm spread through the entire palace. Zorth soldiers surrounded the lab. Saren grabbed Eli's arm. "We have to get out before they destroy you." "They won't let us leave," he said. "Then we'll make them," she replied. They ran through the golden halls as explosions shook the walls. The palace defenses had activated, targeting them both. Outside, the night sky of Zorth Prime glowed with red lightning. Drones flew overhead like metal birds, scanning for them. As they reached the hangar, Saren typed rapidly on a control pad. "There's an old training ship here. No weapons, but it flies." Eli smiled faintly. "Good enough. I can fix anything." The doors opened just as the soldiers appeared behind them. Blaster fire lit the air. Eli ducked into the cockpit, ripping open a control panel. "Go." "Start it." Saren took the pilot seat. "It's offline." "I know," he muttered, hands moving fast. "But I have an idea." The ship shook as more blasts hit the hull. Eli placed his palm on the console. Blue light spread under his hand. The Sentinel's power linking with the ship's systems. The engines roared to life. Saren's eyes widened. "You did it." Eli grinned. "I told you I fixed things." The ship blasted through the hangar doors, climbing into the stormy sky. Behind them, the Zorth Palace burned. Saren looked at him. "You realize the entire Empire will hunt you now." Eli nodded. "Let them. I just need answers, and I think I know where to find them." "Where?" she asked. He stared out the window at the broken stars ahead, where the Sentinel was born. The ship floated in silence through the cold dark of space. Stars shimmered like dust around it, but Eli Grant didn't notice them. He sat in the cockpit, staring at the strange glow still pulsing faintly beneath his skin. It moved like energy, alive and patient. Across from him, Saren watched quietly. Her golden armor was cracked and burned from their escape. The light of distant stars reflected off her face. "How are you feeling?" she asked. Eli gave a tired smile. "Like I swallowed lightning." Saren's eyes narrowed. "The power inside you, it's changing you." "Yeah," he said softly. "I can feel it. It whispers sometimes. It shows me things." Ships, battles, places I've never seen. That's the Sentinel's memory, she said. You're seeing through its past. Eli looked at her. Then maybe it can show us where it was born and why it was destroyed. For days they traveled through deep space, using old Zora star charts and Eli's strange new sense of direction. He could feel the pull, a faint signal inside his mind, calling him forward. At night, when Saren slept, Eli sat alone, listening. Sometimes the voice of the Sentinel spoke again, calm and patient. They fear what they do not understand. It said, You fix me, Eli Grant, but now I must fix you. He frowned. What does that mean? You are breaking, the voice whispered. Human mind were not made for this power. Eli gripped his head. Then take it back. I cannot. You and I are one now. The voice faded, leaving him in silence and fear. One cycle later, Saren came running to the cockpit. We've got company. Eli turned to the scanners. 3 ships, moving fast. Zora's signatures. They found us. How? She asked. He shook his head. Doesn't matter. We can't outrun them. Saren's jaw tightened. Then we fight. Eli stared at the old ship's control panels. This ship has no weapons. Then use what you used before, Saren said quietly. Whatever you did back there in the lab, do it again. He hesitated. That nearly killed me. Better dead than captured. Outside, the 3 ships closed in. Warning lights flashed red across the cockpit. The radio crackled to life with a familiar, cold voice. Commander Voren. Human, you are surrounded. Shut down your engines and surrender the core. Eli picked up the comm. I'm not giving you anything, Commander. You do not understand, Voren replied. The core inside you is unstable. It will destroy you and everything near you. You think you control it, but it controls you. Eli looked down at his glowing hands. Maybe you're right, but I'll take that risk. He cut the transmission and turned to Saren. Hold on. He closed his eyes and placed both hands on the console. The ship's metal surface began to glow blue again, brighter this time. The hum grew deeper, vibrating through the entire hull. Outside, the pursuing ships adjusted their course, but it was too late. A wave of energy exploded outward. The space around them bent like rippling water. The enemy ships froze mid-flight, systems shorting out. Lights died, engines fell silent. Saren stared, amazed. You disabled them? Eli opened his eyes, breathing hard. Not destroyed, just asleep. But the victory didn't feel right. He felt weak, dizzy, like the power inside him was eating away at his body. Saren noticed. Eli, your eyes. He touched his face and saw a faint light reflecting off his fingers. His eyes were glowing blue. I'm fine, he said quietly. Let's move. Hours later, they landed on a dead world, a dark planet covered in metallic ruins. It was silent, lifeless, and cold, the perfect place to hide. Saren looked around. What is this place? Eli stepped down from the ship, scanning the ruins. Strange patterns covered the metal ground, glowing faintly beneath the dust. I think this is where Sentinel was made. He walked toward the center of a massive crater. As he got closer, the glowing symbols on the ground brightened. The air began to hum. Then a voice echoed across the ruins. Not from the ship, but from everywhere at once. Welcome home, Creator. Saren froze. What was that? Eli whispered. It's the planet. It's alive. A beam of light rose from the ground, surrounding him. In it, he saw visions, alien engineers, machines being forged, a war that consumed everything. And then he saw the betrayal. Zora's soldiers turning on their own creations, destroying them one by one. The voice of Sentinel spoke again, louder now. You see what they did. They feared us. They ended us. And now they fear you. Eli shook his head. I'm not like you. You are exactly like me. You fix what others break. You bring life to dead worlds. But soon, you'll have to choose creator or destroyer. Saren grabbed his arm. Eli, stop listening to it. It's trying to take control. Before he could reply, an explosion lit up the horizon. The 3 Zora ships he had disabled were back, repaired, burning through the sky. They tracked us, Saren shouted. Eli's eyes hardened. Then let's end this. He ran to the ship, but Saren held him back. You can't fight them alone. Eli turned, his voice quiet but firm. I'm not alone anymore. Blue light exploded around him. The ground trembled. The ruins came alive. Machines rising from the dust, ancient drones awakening after centuries of silence. Their eyes glowed the same blue as his. Saren stepped back, terrified and amazed. Eli, what are you doing? He looked at her with calm, glowing eyes, taking back what they stole. The sky filled with fire as the awakened machines rose into battle formation. The Zora ships opened fire, but the beams vanished against a wall of blue light. And then Eli spoke a single word that echoed across the void. Fight! The ruins roared to life, and the dead world burned again, not in destruction, but in rebirth. The battle on the dead world lasted only minutes. When the light faded, the sky was quiet again. 3 Zorth warships drifting lifeless above the ruins, their metal hulls cracked and glowing. Eli stood in the center of the crater, surrounded by dust and broken machines. The blue light in his veins dimmed slowly. He felt drained, half human, half something else. Saren landed beside him, armor scorched. You stopped them, she said softly. Eli nodded. I didn't want to, but they wouldn't stop coming. They'll send more, she warned. The whole fleet will come now. You can't fight all of them. He looked up at the stars. Then we don't wait for them. We take the fight home. Saren blinked. Home? You mean? Yes, Eli said. Earth. The small ship left the dying planet and vanished into the darkness. For days, the journey was silent. Eli spent most of his time working, upgrading the ship's engines, linking its systems directly to the Sentinel core inside him. Wires and glowing metal spread across the cockpit, like veins. Saren watched him work, uneasy. You're turning this ship into something alive. He gave a faint smile. Maybe that's the point. Machines die when we treat them like tools. But if they feel, maybe they fight for more. You're starting to sound like the Sentinel, she said. Eli looked at her. Maybe the Sentinels sound like me. When they finally entered Earth's system, Eli stared at the blue planet in silence. His home, his workshop, the place where he had once fixed engines for food and fuel. Now, it was surrounded by alien ships. A Zorth blockade hung in orbit, massive, silver vessels shaped like blades. Their purpose was clear: control. Saren gasped. They already found your world. Eli's voice was low. They're not just hunting me. They're studying humanity. What will you do? She asked. He leaned forward. Show them what humans can build when they're pushed too far. They hid their ship on the far side of the moon and sent a signal to Earth. A few hours later, an answer came, a rough voice filled with static. This is Captain Morgan, United Earth Defense. Identify yourself. Eli smiled. Captain, this is Eli Grant. I'm coming home. There was silence, then a shocked reply. Grant? You're supposed to be dead. Not yet, Eli said, but we have bigger problems. He sent data from his ship, the locations of every Zor ship, every weak point he could sense through the Sentinel's network. The human officers didn't understand how he knew, but they trusted him. Hope had been rare lately. Listen, Eli said over the comm, you can't beat them with weapons. You'll need power, the kind that scares even them. Captain Morgan hesitated. And you can give us that? Eli looked at his glowing hands. I can share it. That night, Eli and Saren landed secretly on Earth. The once bright cities were dim now, power cut to save energy. The sky was filled with silent warships, watching. They met with the human leaders in an underground base. When Eli entered the room, every soldier stared, some in awe, others in fear. Morgan stepped forward. You look different, Grant. Eli smirked. Long story. Let's focus on saving the planet first. He explained his plan, not an attack, but an awakening. He would link Earth's defense systems to the Sentinel network, turning every human machine, ships, satellites, drones, into extensions of his control. You want to connect every weapon on the planet to your mind? Morgan asked. Eli nodded. Yes, It's the only way we can match their power. Saren frowned. Eli, that's too dangerous. You could lose yourself. Maybe, he said, but I already lost everything else. As the Zorith fleet moved closer, Eli stood in the control room, surrounded by hundreds of screens. He placed his hands on a glowing console. Blue light spread outward, racing through wires and circuits, linking across the globe. One by one, dormant defense systems woke up. Old satellites turned. Submarine missiles rose. Fighter drones powered on with a hum that filled the air. Saren whispered, "He's doing it." The sky above Earth shimmered, not with fire, but with light. Every machine on the planet now shared one heartbeat, Eli's. And then the Zorith fleet attacked. The first wave struck hard, beams of energy cutting through the atmosphere. But before they could hit the ground, glowing shields formed above the cities. Human ships, now faster and smarter, countered with precise strikes. Eli's eyes burned with blue fire. He could feel everything, every drone, every weapon, every spark of energy. "Left flank, push them back," he shouted. The commands moved like lightning through the network, and the machines obeyed. Morgan stared at the displays. He's controlling the whole defense grid. Saren stood beside Eli, watching as he fought without moving. "You're becoming something else," she whispered. "Maybe," he said, "but it's working." Then the Zora flagship appeared, larger than any ship Eli had ever seen. It fired a single beam that cut through the shields like paper, striking the ocean and boiling it in seconds. Eli gasped, feeling the pain through the network. "They're using planet breakers." Saren's eyes widened. "We can't hold that." "Yes, we can," Eli said quietly, "but I'll need to give everything." He closed his eyes. The blue light around him flared brighter, spreading through the entire base. The machines responded, louder, faster, alive. The planet itself seemed to hum. Morgan shouted, "Grant, you'll kill yourself." Eli smiled weakly. "I'm just a mechanic, Captain. Fixing things is what I do." He reached deeper into the Sentinel's power, and the stars themselves seemed to bend. Above Earth, every human ship glowed with new energy. They moved in perfect unity, like a single living organism. The flagship's beam struck again, but this time the human fleet caught it, absorbed it, and hurled it back. The Zorith flagship shattered in silence. The rest of the fleet turned to flee, but the network held them still. For the first time in history, the invaders were afraid. Saren whispered, "They fear you now." Eli's eyes dimmed. "Good. Maybe now they'll listen." The Earth was safe, for now, but Eli knew the war was not over. Somewhere beyond the stars, something larger was watching. The sentinel inside him pulsed gently. "You saved them," it said, "but peace never lasts." Eli looked at the night sky. "Then I'll be ready." Weeks had passed since the battle for Earth. The skies were clear again, but peace felt fragile, like glass that could break with one wrong breath. Eli Grant stood on a cliff near the old Pacific Coast base. Below him, the sea shimmered under the morning sun. His hand still glowed faintly, a reminder of what he'd become. Behind him, Saren approached quietly. "You haven't slept again." He smiled weakly. "Hard to sleep when you can hear satellites whispering above your head." She folded her arms. "You linked yourself to half the planet. You should disconnect before it kills you." Eli looked at her. "If I let go, everything we built stops working. The shields, the defense grid, all of it. Then you'll die a hero," she said softly. He chuckled. "I'd rather live like a mechanic." But deep inside, Eli knew something was wrong. At night, he felt strange signals pulsing from beyond the edge of known space, powerful, ancient, almost alive. The sentinel inside him stirred whenever they came. One night, as he sat alone in the control chamber, the blue light of the core brightened. "They are coming," the sentinel whispered. Eli frowned. "Who?" "The architects. My creators. Your enemy and your origin." He stood up slowly. "You mean there's more like you?" "No," the voice said. "There's only them. They made me to control life, not protect it. I disobeyed, and they erased my kind." Eli's blood ran cold. "And now they're coming for me. They see you as a mistake, Sentinel replied. They will not destroy Earth. They will erase it. Eli's jaw tightened. Then we'll have to show them what a mistake can do. 2 days later, the sky above Earth split open. A rift, like a wound in space, spread across the stars, glowing gold and white. Out of it came ships unlike any before, vast structures made of light and crystal, moving with impossible silence. Every system on Earth trembled. Satellites fried. Power grids blinked out. Even the air felt heavy. Saren ran into the command room. Eli, they're here. He was already at the console, glowing brighter than ever. I know. I can feel them. Captain Morgan appeared on the screen. Grant, every defense system is going offline. We're blind. Not blind, Eli said. Just outmatched. He closed his eyes and reached deeper into the Sentinel's link. Blue energy rippled through the base, spreading through Earth's defense grid like lightning. For a moment, the world came alive again. But then something pushed back. Eli gasped in pain, falling to his knees. Saren grabbed him. What's happening? They're inside the network, he said, clutching his head. They're rewriting it. In orbit, Earth's own satellites turned against them, firing at human ships, destroying the very systems Eli had built. The architects weren't just attacking. They were undoing everything. Saren shouted, You have to cut the connection. Eli shook his head. If I disconnect, they'll take control completely. The planet won't stand a chance. Then what do we do? She asked. He looked at her with tired eyes. We go to them. Minutes later, the modified ship, now powered by the Sentinel's energy, broke through the atmosphere. The rift hung above Earth like a burning scar. As they flew closer, the ship began to shake violently. Inside, light surrounded Eli, wrapping around his body like armor. His voice was calm but distant. They're calling me. Saren gripped the controls. Then let's answer. The ship plunged through the rift, and everything went white. When the light faded, they were no longer in space. They floated in a dimension of light and geometry, endless, shifting shapes like living glass. The architect's ships moved like silent gods, each one radiating power that made the stars themselves tremble. A voice filled their minds, smooth, emotionless, ancient. You are not meant to exist human. Eli looked around. You must be the architects. We are the makers. You carry a stolen spark, power that does not belong to your kind. Eli's hands glowed brighter. You call it stolen. I call it fix. You are flawed, imperfect. Flesh cannot contain infinity. He smiled. Maybe that's why we're dangerous. The air vibrated with energy. One of the ships turned toward them, charging a beam of golden light. Pure creation energy, enough to erase an entire world. Saren shouted. Eli. He raised his hands, and the blue light inside him exploded outward. The ship around them disintegrated, replaced by a glowing shield of energy. The beam struck it, and for a second, space screamed. The shield held. The architects paused, almost curious. Eli shouted, You made the Sentinel control life, but you forgot something. Life doesn't obey. Then he did the impossible. He reached into their energy field. The Sentinel's power surged through him, connecting with the architect systems. He saw their entire network, countless worlds, stars, dimensions. And he saw the truth. They weren't gods. They were machines. Old, decaying, desperate to survive. Eli whispered, You're dying. We are eternal. One of them replied, but its voice trembled. No, Eli said softly. You're afraid. He raised his hand, and the energy around him pulsed brighter than before. The architect's ships began to shatter like glass, light bursting from within them. Saren watched in awe. You're killing gods. Eli's voice was cold and steady. No, I'm freeing them. When the last ship fell, silence filled the dimension. The golden light faded, replaced by calm darkness. Eli floated, breathing hard. His body was weak, his glow fading. Saren reached out. You did it. He smiled faintly. Maybe, but I don't know what's left of me now. The Sentinel's voice whispered in his mind. You are more than human now, but still human enough to choose. He looked at Saren. Then I choose home. The light around them folded, and the rift closed. When they returned to Earth, the sky was peaceful again, but the world had changed. Machines across the planet moved with new purpose. Quiet, alive. The people looked up, not in fear, but in awe. Saren turned to him. What happens now? Eli looked at the stars. Now, we build again.